as NewsClick, the news portal, grapples with a lot of problem with ED investigations and scanner on many of the journalists working over there in India, now news coming in is that Twitter, in fact X as it's called now, has suspended its social media account. Well, there are a couple of things over here. First of all, we know the rules of the game. Elon Musk recently in New York had made it very clear that wherever it's operating from, it has to work according to the rules of the government. Indian government has often raised this issue with all the social media platforms that there are certain rules of the country, there are some norms and negotiations, concerns of national security, which have to be kept in mind whenever any social media platform operates. If there is a particular social media post which the government feels can actually stoke a controversy and could lead to a provocative situation, then the advisory which has often gone out to the social media platforms, including X, has been that you have to go by the rules of a country if you want to operate. Well, that is exactly the ground on which this account has been suspended. There are two ways it works. One, of course, is either a complaint goes in from the government, or second is suo moto. We know that X and Elon Musk has made it very clear that there is a monitoring mechanism. They keep on monitoring all your posts which are considered to be defamatory, which are considered to be provocative, racial slur, something which can add to a national security problem. That is automatically, that account will be suspended, and you either have to remove that post or you have to kind of apologize. But in this case, it's the entire news portal which has been suspended, which means it can no longer have a social media platform through which it can either promote its stories or put forward its point of view. But having said that, just to give a quick background of what is really ailing NewsClick, well, recently it came into more controversy because New York Times published a report which said that NewsClick as a portal is working with funding coming in from many of the Chinese origins. And therefore, the question was being raised about the journalists who are working there. The reports that they were filing is actually compromised in the sense that it is hurting a national security. In fact, the government also has given out statistics, as has the New York Times, that there were a lot of unaccounted for funds which were going to accounts of the journalists who were working in it. Now, as you know, recently, during the recently concluded monsoon session of Parliament, Nishikant Dubey stoked a controversy when he named certain journalists, and it had to be expunged, but it again came back. The BJP made the point that none of these allegations are made without a base. Now, what has happened now is the Enforcement Directorate has gone back to the High Court saying that the stay which it had on the investigations on NewsClick, that stay needs to be removed because there is evidence to show that there is some work which is happening or there's funding which is coming in which is compromised, and that is a threat to India's national security or nationalism, and therefore there needs to be more detailed probe. So clearly NewsClick, news portal, is under fire. However, they issued a statement recently saying that they're ready for every kind of investigation. These charges and allegations against them are completely baseless. All their funds are, source of funds are above board, and none of the journalists are compromised. They are non-partisan and journalists with integrity. Well, this has now become a political issue with the government versus NewsClick portal, and in fact the Congress party and many of the India front opposition parties also being dragged in and being accused of defending NewsClick and hence going against what is important for the national security of the country.